The Sacramento Kings just lost to the worst team in the NBA without half their roster playing, 116-111. This is pathetic with a capital P. Absolutely pathetic. Embarrassing.
Serious question. If you didn't know, if you weren't covering the Kings like we are, who would you have thought was the 16-win team tonight?
You would have thought that the Kings were the 16-win team that couldn't wait for the season to end, that had no drive, no determination. We got 5 games, 6 games left. Let's just play them and get the hell out of here. That's what I saw from the Sacramento Kings tonight.
So what's that say about Doug Christie and how the players are responding to his messaging that we've now seen 2 games on this road trip where this team completely did not show up?
They're not responding. They're basically saying, see you later, Doug. That's what they're doing. Yeah. And they're like, it's embarrassing. I mean, it's absolutely embarrassing. There's no other way to say it. It's embarrassing. Is this the word Well, I've asked you this question too often this year, and I apologize for that. Is this the worst loss of the year?
Yes, by far. Not even close.
I agree. Well, I don't know if I would say it's not even close, but I would agree with you.
Grant, you were on rest, the situation, knowing where you're at in the season, knowing exactly what you did wrong, coming off of a game where you played 3.5 quarters very well. Grant, when you lie down with the dogs, sometimes you get fleas. And that's what the Kings did tonight. They're heading to Charlotte with some fleas.
36-40 with Charlotte, Cleveland, Detroit to round out this road trip. Why would I think they're going to beat Charlotte if they can't beat Washington? 36-40. I mean, what a joke. Seriously, what a joke.
Grant, I think the more troubling thing for me, and I'll let you speak to this, is the mindset that this team, with the record that they have had, knowing the chemistry is not completely there since the All-Star break, thinks they're good enough to come out and play for 6 minutes out of 48 to win a game. What's that mindset tell you?
I'm baffled. And again, you're talking about really non-existent point guard play, which has been an area of concern. And I hope this is not too bold of a statement. I think Doug Christie has lost his opportunity to become the permanent head coach on this road trip. That's what I think. I don't think there's any way in the world that you can bring Doug back with how badly this team has played down the stretch next season. I just don't think you can. And I think Monte McNair is going to be gone. And I've been talking about this for weeks now, but there's no way that Doug Christie can be the coach of this team next year. I'm sorry. There just can't be. It can't happen.
Do you feel the same if they would have squeaked out a win tonight?
No. I actually thought even when they were down 111-102 and climbed it within 2, that Washington, being as awful as they have been all year, would find a way to lose this game. And then they called the timeout and they got the big 3 out of the timeout. And at that point, I'm like, well, maybe it's not going to happen. But I really thought when DeRozan got fouled and made the free throw and cut it to 2 at 111-109, I thought the Kings were going to eke out a win. No, I would have come on the air had they won this game and made the same comments.
Yeah. Shout out to the G League, JT Thor, grown down in the G League. First game up. Yeah, it's a really hard one to fathom and swallow tonight. Is this the worst Kings team in the last 5 years, Grant?
Record-wise, no. On paper, no.
Okay.
I would actually make the argument that in the last 5 years, this is the most talented team they've had.
On paper, yeah.
On paper.
Yep.
Like if you look at their roster, okay? I mean, for over half the season, there was talk in the league, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Kings starting 5 was maybe the best in the league. And I laughed at that, but that's what was the discussion, was it not?
It was. And what was the other side of that talk? That DeMar DeRozan's not the right fit for this team.
Correct. And the other part of that discussion was, as good as their starting five appeared to be, their bench was among the worst, if not the worst, in the league. And then that got a little better at the trade deadline. But I've talked about this all year with you. This puzzle has not fit at all this year. And fans, and I got a lot of flack for this, and I got a lot of criticism for this, when I said I'm not that impressed with the winning streak like everyone else, with the exception of the Boston game, because every team that the Kings had played was missing their best player or best players. And I thought that as good as the winning streak was, it was camouflaged, in my opinion, by the other team's players not playing. This Kings team is 36-40, and they have been inconsistent all year. We've talked about it all year. We've talked about how these pieces do not fit, how they don't have a chemistry. And Mike Brown got ripped. Now Doug Christie's getting ripped. I mean, there's just a whole problem with this franchise right now. You can't pinpoint one thing other than the owner.
No, I think, though, for me, everything from 22-23, the Beam team, has been completely exposed by the NBA. Everything has been exposed by this point. The NBA has adjusted every team in the league to how the Kings try to play through Sabonis. And in some ways, it's forced the ball into the other guy's hands that were never supposed to have the ball and be setting up as playmakers. They were the in-between guards. And so it showed the exact flaw of the roster that we're talking about. But more to that, I worry about Sabonis and his value. I think these 3 years, you can't deny how great that he has been, Grant, and how incredibly consistent and leaving it on the court and just always available and important he's been. But he's also shown that he is not Nikola Jokic.
No, he's not. And tonight he had 18 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, right? He's playing his ass off.
He's doing everything he can within the confines of the system. He had 9 points in the first quarter. He ends with 18.
Yep.
As you just said. So I wonder if Sacramento is somewhat ruined.
Well,
the thought of Domantas Sabonis. And
good point.
So,
all right, I have a question. We talked at halftime with Jerry about the third quarter, and once again, I was wrong. When I said I thought the Kings would come out and have a huge third quarter. They got outscored by the Wizards in the third, 36-25. How often have we talked about the third quarter being so bad for Sacramento this year? It just tells me that their coaching staff is not making adjustments, and the other team's coaching staff is, because it happens on an all too regular basis.
Spot on, Grant. 7 for 12 from beyond the arc, the Wizards were that quarter. You know what was more troubling? We said the Kings needed to come out and have energy. They had 0 fast break points that quarter.
How about that?
6 for the Wizards. And to your point about the lack of adjustments, do you know what the formula was at the end of the game? It was all DeRozan. Get to the elbow. Get to the elbow. Get to the elbow. That's how we came back. They went right back to the ISO ball without adjusting. So it's...
Well, let's hear from some fans. Because I don't even know what else to say. This was the worst loss of the year. It was an embarrassment. It was pathetic. And I can't wait to hear what Coach Christie has to say after this one.
But it's not surprising. Are you surprised? I'm not.
I'm a little surprised they lost, yes.
Okay. All right. Essie, set the tone for everybody else calling. What's going on today?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I've been hearing a lot about, the offense should continue to run through Sabonis. That's why we're losing. That's why we're not doing well. I've heard that on a lot of different local sports radio talk shows. But in my opinion, that was exposed, like you kind of alluded to earlier, Ryno. It was exposed. Sabonis was setting the picks. I want to say about 2 years ago, and we just weren't hitting threes. But what has been consistent is since Mike Brown got here, and now he's gone. Is so what? 3 years is our perimeter defense is just trash. I mean that when we were within two, I rewound this play a few times to see how did Thor get that wide open. Someone slipped on the baseline. I forget what the other player's name was, and they had two people, and one guy just pointed to Thor and said, "Hey, just go up." And I was looking at Levine. He just had his hands on his knees. DeRozan looked like a deer in headlights, and Malik was like, "What do I do? There's a guy in the corner, and Thor's open. Who do I guard?" How do you come out of a timeout being that piss poor on defense? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
great
Oh,
point.
Essie, it's an excellent point, like Grant said, and it's been the story of the Christie administration, the interim Christie administration. There
It's
were
terrible.
there were two other times tonight the Kings had turnovers out of timeouts.
Terrible.
That
They're
can't
they're, they're going to be
happen.
the worst team in the league out of timeouts under Doug, right,
If
Ryno?
yes,
Seriously.
if you track that stat, or if it is somewhere, they would probably be in the top 5, Grant. And that was coming off of, by the way, 3 straight triples by the Wizards. Doug
Yep.
Christie calls timeout,
Yep.
turnover. So good job, Essie.
And there's one more thing I want to add too. Like I don't deny Sabonis's value, right? But think about when they started going away from the DHO a little bit, his assist numbers obviously came down, right? I would surmise that instead of picking up DeRozan and Levine, had Monty actually went out and got like 6'8", 6'9", 3-and-D wings, Sabonis's rebound numbers would come down as well. Okay, Sabonis's numbers. Everyone talks about his numbers. Yeah, they're great, but why? It's because the rest of the team isn't doing a goddamn thing. They're not with the in terms of hustle, with the exception of maybe Keegan Murray. Who
And
else
Keon.
is rebound and Keon? Yeah. Who else is rebound? Who else is consistently hustling? Right. So listen, everyone wants to talk about how great Sabonis is. Yes, he is. But if you take Sabonis out of Sacramento and say you put him on a top 5 team in the league, East Coast or West Coast, I don't think he's going to be providing the same value. His numbers will definitely go down because a lot of those teams do have length and athleticism. So they don't need Sabonis to get 16 rebounds a game. You know what I mean? So, and the reason I bring that up is because, a lot of people are talking about trading Sabonis. What is his value going to be? I don't know because it's a little bit of stat padding on the Kings, in my opinion.
Now,
Well,
his value is still very good.
to the right buyer.
I mean,
He's not a universal fit for everybody at that price point.
exactly
No,
at 40 something million a year,
47. Yeah.
47. Like, who's going to
there are
want to pay
teams that would
that?
love to have Sabonis. There are teams that would love to have Sabonis.
But what do we get in return for it? That
Well,
was the
who knows?
question.
We have
Yeah,
no idea.
let's
That's an
cross
off
that bridge
season.
when we get to it.
Yeah, conversation.
Thank you for the call.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you. I think we can agree, though, when we start having that conversation, that there's no rush to get Sabonis out of town,
Right.
to get the
Yep.
right deal, if that comes around and we get there. Roger, thanks for calling tonight.
Hey guys, wish I was calling with better circumstances. Yeah, tonight's game is a big disappointment. But one of the main things that we don't really talk about, I'm going to tell a story. I swear it'll have a point. So the year is 2070. We'll say that a student at a local Sacramento school has the new X eyeglasses, where when you wear those glasses, it kind of picks out every item and kind of makes a story about it. So she looks at the guy in his jersey and it pops up 50 years since the curse of the Napier on the Sacramento Kings franchise. At this point, Anjali Ranadive is the owner, but she decides to give Grant a full pardon.
And you want me to react to that? I'm sorry, I'm not going to react to that. I understand. Thank you for your support. I don't even know what to say. I'm going to just say that everything right now is an embarrassment for the franchise. Their record is an embarrassment. Their performance lately has been an embarrassment. Their owner is an embarrassment. It's just embarrassing. And Kings fans deserve so much better. They deserve so much better.
My guy Paul crossing over from the chat to the phones. What's up, Paul? Oh, wait, J-Cal. Paul dropped off. Never mind. You're on, J-Cal.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey there.
Hey, good. I think this was the nail in the coffin of the whole season. Honestly, it was like you guys said, this is the worst loss of the season. I was doing the dishes, watching the game, and when the game was over, my wife was in the other room, and I said, "Hey, the Kings lost." She's not a huge basketball fan, but I said, "Hey, the Kings lost to the worst team in the NBA," and she said, "Does that make the Kings the worst team in the NBA?" And I just laughed. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's funny.
Right now, they're playing like it.
Yeah, it is. And like you guys said it before, I don't feel confident at all for the future of the Kings right now.
How could you? How could anybody?
No, and it all goes back to the owner. And and we're stuck. As Kings fans, we deserve much better than this. So watching this,
Amen. Thank you.
And,
Appreciate it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to give a shout out to the Stockton Kings. I'll be at the game tomorrow, and I feel like instead of spending your money seeing the Sacramento Kings, supporting the Stockton Kings would be awesome.
Yep.
Go look for
I'm with
Ryno.
you,
He'll be
J-Cal.
sitting courtside with the big time seats. Go look for Ryno.
Oh, you going tomorrow?
Yep. Be down there by the Kings bench. So come say hi.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Hey, don't forget about New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. They're available around the clock 24/7 for your plumbing needs and repairs. Give them a call. Go on their website. You got the one right there, or newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. Again, they're available 24/7 for your plumbing needs and repairs. New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. And don't forget about, if you want to get out of Sacramento, which I think a lot of people do right now because you get away from the Kings, you can go to Sunrise Landing and check everything out at CalusaSunrise.com. You'll get a very good look at all these beautiful models. Remember, there's no homeowners. There's no Mellorews. It's close to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. This is a Blazona development project, and it's good access, I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. Once again, go to CalusaSunrise.com and get all the information on Sunrise Landing. Final score tonight. The Wizards, the Washington Wizards, 116. Your Sacramento Kings, 111.
Hey, Grant, that net rating, it's holding on. It won't go negative.
It's by a whisker.
0.0. The Kings are exactly even. And I think that's giving them a tip of the cap.
Yep.
Actually, should be negative. Dirk, thanks for calling.
Hey, fellas.
What's up?
Yeah, it's funny. People talking about analyzing plays of this game. I mean, you're showing more care in analyzing play than this team does about play in this game. But Grant, we talk about how talented this team is, but they're not winners. I think that's what it comes down to. You have who's the leader of this team? I guess DeMar DeRozan is the leader of the team, and you can't have your leader be a one-way player. There's no commitment to defense or anything like that.
Terrible. His defense is awful.
Yeah, I mean, he looks hobbled, right? I mean, the play last game where he actually got a steal and Sabonis threw it ahead and he lost the foot race with like a 15-foot lead on the previous guy to get the ball.
Well, they keep playing him 40 minutes every night and over 40 minutes every night. I mean, at his age and his attrition, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it just doesn't surprise me at all. Again, we talk about the minutes played. The Kings play their starters so many minutes. Yeah,
and no depth in regard to this team. I mean, you're missing guys that would have put effort who had something to prove because they're injured.
The team you played tonight had half their roster not playing, so I don't want to hear about it.
So put your G Leaguers in then. Bring them over to give these guys some rest. I mean, they're clearly
you can't. Their game tomorrow is way more important.
Right, it is.
Isn't that hilarious?
What do you mean give them some rest? The Kings have 6 games left. Come on now.
Okay, but 6 games left to prove what?
That they don't have anything to prove. Their season's over. They've already proved that they're not good, that they need massive changes, and nothing's going to change that. They're not a good team. We've now seen it for 76 games. Nothing is going to change in the final 6 games that's going to make us change our opinion on this team.
I 100% agree. So let's tank it out. Maybe we end up with the 12th pick. As far as the Sabonis opportunity.
Well, the 12th pick's not very good.
And Dirk, Dirk,
Better than no pick, right?
The Kings don't need
right.
to take. They just need to show up. That's all they need to
That's
do.
right.
If
They just
show up
lost
and
to the
lose that, I mean,
Wizards.
some East teams could surpass us and then we could still make the play in and get the 12th pick hypothetically, right? I don't know.
I have no
I'll
idea.
work the math out myself. But
Yes,
someone
please
mentioned
work
the
the math
Sabonis
out.
trade. One
Yeah,
interesting
the
team.
12th pick goes to the Atlanta Hawks.
I thought the pick is top 12 protected.
Correct. Top 12
So it goes to us unless
So
it's
12.
13,
There
and
you
then
go.
it goes to the Hawks.
There you go. Sorry, my bad.
So and then next year it's a top 10 protected. But anyway,
I thought next year it's 2 second rounds.
2
it's
second-round
top
picks.
10 protected next year. But if it doesn't pay out, meaning we get it, then it becomes 2 second rounders, and they get 2 second rounders. And Monty looks like a genius, right? Not quite, but anyway, I'll let other people talk. What a depressing game.
Yep, appreciate you. While Dirk was, I was multitasking, Grant, while Dirk was making his point, Doug Christie, I'm going to paraphrase here, said you cannot turn it off and turn it on for any game in the NBA, especially against a team like this. You need to bring the consistent effort, blah, blah, blah. Same thing we've heard after every game.
As you said, blah, blah, blah. I don't have anything to add to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
in all fairness to Doug, what's he going to say? Like, I mean, no one on the team played the way Doug, with the exception of maybe 2 guys. That's the one when Doug played, you never had to ask Doug, how come your effort wasn't very good tonight? How come that was never a question that Doug would have to answer, because he played every play in every game like it was going to be his last. And he has a team where that doesn't happen.
You could probably speak to this better. It almost feels like Doug would not even understand what that means to not give it your all on every play. Like, can't comprehend how that happens. So
sad. Yep.
Yeah. Anybody have an issue with the flopping call with Keon tonight? I'm curious. Put your answers in the chat, or call us and let us know. All you got to do, click the link that's floating around the chat, or scan the QR code.
Give us a call, as you said, 116 and 111, and I will have my rant with Grant. Think we have a rant tonight? Give me some ideas. What do you want me to rant on tonight? It doesn't have to be the NBA or the Kings. It can be anything, and I'll be more than happy to do a rant with Grant. I'll tell you what else would make me very happy, and that is my food from Bennett's, whether it's the steak, whether it is my redfish, whatever the case is. Prime seafood and steak at Bennett's. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com, the West Side Grill in Rockland, or the Sacramento and Roseville location. You'll love Bennett's. It's fabulous. Again, Sacramento, Roseville, the West Side Grill in Rockland. bennettsrestaurants.com. Make a reservation and enjoy your prime seafood and steaks at Bennett's.
Kings lose to the Wizards. Losers now, Grant, of 7 of the last 8. And wait for this, for the first time since Mike Brown's firing, are 5 games under 500.
4 games under 500,
5.
36 and 40.
Okay. My bad. I misread.
No problem. And Mike Brown's got to have a nice smile on his face somewhere.
Somewhere nice.
Yeah,
Somewhere
with his $30 million
DC.
plus dollars that the Kings are still going to have to pay him. He's probably sitting there with a nice margarita, maybe a nice top shelf bottle of red wine, going, God, I feel so good. I don't have any stress. I don't have to deal with Vivek anymore. God, life is good. I'm living in my beautiful home in El Dorado Hills. I'm overlooking the fog. I'm just like, oh, this is so sweet.
Oh, when's it? Friday, a couple days from now, my next direct deposit. Awesome. Am I allowed to have that much money in my checking account?
Oh my God. Oh.
Oh my! You know, Mike Brown's got financial advisors just cold calling his house and knocking at his door every day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful.
Grant, is it the players or is it the coach's fault?
It's
Rant
everything.
idea.
It's everything. It's everything. It's not just a quick fix. That's why I keep on saying I don't know how Kings fans can be optimistic about the future, because it's not a quick fix.
Well, this is what okay. So the question I posed earlier today on the Kings court was, you're gonna have Levine next year. There's no doubt about that because of the money. But if
Right.
you can only have 3 carryover Kings, who are they? Keeping in mind that you don't want to stay in basketball purgatory.
Well, I would keep Sabonis. I would keep Keegan Murray. And I would probably keep Malik Monk.
You think Sabonis and Levine keep you in that play-in discussion?
For next year,
Yep.
I don't care about the play-in. The play-in to me is a failed season.
Right, but I'm kind of more of the mindset that this fan base might be more ready than ever to start the process of breaking it down to the bones, keeping the pieces that are universal, and putting a new set of eyes on
Okay, well,
this.
that's a different question than the question you asked me. You asked me which 3 players would I keep.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't give that context.
If you're asking me the latter in that context, I guess I'm okay with that in this sense. Being in the play-in means you're not relevant enough. You can always find an exception, like a Miami who was a play-in and made it to the finals, but that was also a very odd time in the league with everything that was going on, pandemic right after it was a very weird time.
Yeah.
You are in no man's land right now for Sacramento. You might get into the play-in because the other teams around you are so bad, but you have no chance of winning in the playoffs, and you have no or a 1% chance or less than a 1% chance of getting lucky in the lottery. So you're in purgatory.
That's what that's the worst place to be. I
Right.
think so for me, like if I look at what Sacramento Kings basketball to me in my lifetime is, it's about effort. It's about hustle. It's about 5 being more important than 1. And I think you have some elements here that can satisfy some of those requirements that I think some Kings fans share with me, to where you can start the rebuild process and still have guys that are going to give the effort. You're going to get more minutes for Keon Ellis, assuming he wants to stay. You're going to get more minutes from Keegan Murray, assuming he wants to stay. Levine's the wild card because he's here. You're not doing anything with him. I just don't think that kicking this can out another year makes sense. But to what we were talking about earlier, Grant, you can't rush a Sabonis deal, even
No.
if Sabonis wants out.
Well, again, if you're going to replace Monte McNair, the question is who will be the next general manager, and who will the general manager hire as the coach, assuming that the Kings do think correctly, which is an assumption that I should not make, and follow standard protocol that you hire a GM first and let him hire the coach. But we know that doesn't happen in Sacramento because of the owner. So that's the first thing that has to be determined in 2 weeks, the day after the season, whether Monte McNair is going to be replaced or not. And I think he will be fired.
You've got to hit the ground running, because it's not just having that in place by the date of the draft. You need the new administration out, doing scouting and having workouts and knowing a direction.
If I were going to fire Monte McNair, I would do it right now, today.
Isn't that weird timing, or no?
What does the timing matter for this franchise right now? You need to start interviewing. Well, I'm serious.
No, you're right. It's the dumbest question I've ever asked with how Mike Brown was fired. Yeah.
You need to start letting the league know that you have a vacancy, and you got to start the process. I mean, you're not that far away from the lottery and or the draft and then free agency. You got to give yourself the best opportunity.
I've never talked to Monte McNair, and I'm not going to make any presumptions about what he wants, but according to Sam Amick's report, Wes Wilcox was handling a lot of the day-to-day stuff. So who knows, maybe Monte would be welcome to the notice. You don't know with where we're at now and how this is burning.
Well, I
to
don't
the
know why
ground.
Wes Wilcox would be handling most of the day-to-day stuff. That's again, that's another reason why this franchise is so messed up. You don't have that happen with other franchises. Like Jeff Petrie, when Jeff was the general manager, he didn't have other people handling the day-to-day stuff. Like he ran everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you. You have roles. One of the
Yeah.
things Doug Christie did when he got named interim coach, he went guy to guy, lined them all up and said, this is going to be your role. This is going to be your role. And I gave him credit for that. I don't think that's something Mike Brown did. It worked shortly, and then here we are now.
Someone said, how about Bob Myers? Why would Bob Myers want to come work for the
No
Sacramento
chance.
Kings? I mean, come on, stop it, would you please? And he knows Vivek Ranadive very well. There's no chance of that happening. Zero.
Didn't Bob Myers cross over and collaborate with another sport, Grant? Wasn't he helping out?
The Commanders, right?
The Commanders, yes.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. I don't know where to go from here. This is pretty much rock bottom, isn't it? For this year.
Yeah, but you know that what this team's going to do. They'll come back and beat Cleveland or beat Detroit, and the false hope starts. I guess the question is, if the Kings end up making the play-in, are we saying the Kings made the play-in or Phoenix?
No, they backed their way into the play-in.
Phoenix missed the play-in.
That's exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. The Kings aren't going to win 40 games this year. So the question is, are they going to win one more game? Are they going to win two more games? I mean, I'm not saying they're going to beat Charlotte, but I don't see how they could win against their next four opponents after Charlotte. I don't see how they could beat Cleveland, Detroit, Denver, or the Clippers unless the other teams don't play guys. Even if they do, I mean, tonight the Wizards look at all the injuries that the Wizards had tonight. It didn't matter. They still won 116 and 111.
Yeah.
And how about the way this trip started? How about the Orlando game where you were absolutely embarrassed?
Torched.
I mean, horrible, right?
You how many threes did you give up tonight to Washington?
The Washington Wizards tonight were 17 of 43 for 39.5% from downtown.
Has Washington made 17 threes all season? Indiana put 162 on them. By the way, if you have hope and you are watching the scoreboard, Dallas is currently down 6 points in the third quarter to Atlanta. They're playing at home in Dallas.
Like it matters, right?
Like it matters. Yeah. Man.
Unbelievable. Really. Absolutely unbelievable how bad things have gotten for the Sacramento Kings. Hey, if you are in the market for buying a home, selling a home, make sure you get in touch with Connor from Element Mortgage at 916-505-1006. That's 916-505-1006. He's awesome. He's got a team behind him with over 100 years of experience. He himself has lots of experience. All right. He is awesome at what he does. You can trust him. He has the experience. He has the team behind him. Get in touch with him. You got the QR code there. Scan that or call him at 916-505-1006. But don't talk to him about the Kings if you call him right now or tomorrow, because he can't be too happy being a diehard Kings fan. Again, that's 916-505-1006. That's Connor with Element Mortgage.
And if he happens to bring your escrow docs over, make sure you measure your doorways to make sure they're wide enough for him to get through. Just saying.
Yes. And we're not talking about obesity here. We're talking about power and strength. Right.
Yes. His shoulders. Oh, my goodness.
Yep. That's funny. Not funny in Washington tonight as the Wizards win for only, you ready for this? Their 17th time. They're 17-59. And they are now 8-31 at home. Now think about that for a minute. 8-31 at home after tonight. Eight wins, and we're in April.
And half their team was out.
Yep.
All right. We bring in our habitual line stepper, PK. What's up?
They suck. Yeah. I'm gonna say Grant was right. He called it. This team sucks. This is laughable. Like, there was like it's almost like a girlfriend broke up with us, and we are going through these steps of we got mad, then we got sad, then whatever the 5 steps are. Now we're at a point where it's like now we're laughing because this is crazy. How do we where do we start to fix this? If I give you a GM job, how do you even begin?
Great
Everyone's
question.
gonna say, okay, let's get rid of Sabonis. Okay, well, get rid of the freaking Sabonis, the only guy that leads in stats, the only guy that has any kind of significance in NBA statistics whatsoever. Where do we begin?
Well,
What is this?
PK.
We're losing you, PK. We
No,
lost you, buddy.
No. We didn't lose him. He hung up on us.
Oh, he hung up. Okay.
So what's that
Well-
put us into the 6th stage of grief now that he was talking about?
I understand PK's frustration. I get it. I'm with you. He asked a very pertinent question. Where would a new GM even begin? Where do you even begin? You have a owner who is off the rails right now. I already know that. You've got an owner who just saw the attendance drop in every game of the 3 games of the A's in West Sacramento. They only had 8,000 plus at the game today for a day game. You had the attendance drop off by over 2,000 last night. And then he's watching his team lose to the Wizards. I would not want to be Monte McNair right now. I would not want to be Doug. No, not at all.
Well, he'll be front and center in Stockton if they make it on Sunday to the Western Conference Finals. He was last year at that time. I think this is where you start, Grant. If you're the new or a different GM looking at this, it starts with Sabonis. It's what are we going to do with him? Are we going to continue? I don't think there's a question about how you use him anymore. You have to rethink that because you have to build out from there. You can't use him as your point guard. So that's going to matter on what you do free agency. That's what's going to matter on what you do with the draft. If you decide you're better off moving off of him and it's a rebuild, then you go from there. If he wants out, doesn't it start with Sabonis?
Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
It has to.
Yep. 100%. It starts with Sabonis. Hey, it is time for a rant with Grant. It is brought to you by EDH Motors Automotive Reimagined. David and Adam, just 2 guys trying to do something different and better. You can go to edhmotors.com, get more information. If you're looking to sell your vehicle, you're looking to purchase a vehicle. If you don't find what you're looking for at edhmotors.com, no problem. They have decades of experience in the automotive industry, and they will get exactly what you're looking for. edhmotors.com, EDH Motors, and Grant's Rant. EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. I get a kick reading a lot of the comments. Bob Myers, Taylor Jenkins, hire them. Have you asked yourself, why would Jenkins want to come to Sacramento? He's going to have offers from other teams that are in a much better position with much better ownership than Sacramento. Bob Myers. Why would Bob Myers want to come and work for the Sacramento Kings? Have you asked yourself that question? You think that just because there's going to be a vacancy in the front office in all likelihood, and as a coach in all likelihood, that you're going to have candidates jumping through hoops to try to get an interview? Here are the players in this conversation. When I mean players, I'm talking about individuals. Number 1, never been a head coach before. Never been a general manager before. Those are the candidates you're going to get. This is basically, in terms of coaching and the GM, this is a entry-level position compared to the other teams in pro sports. That's what we're dealing with here. There are no secrets around the NBA. You're not having the Sam Presties of the world say, oh, man, I can't wait to work in Sacramento when there's a vacancy. You're not having the Jeff Van Gundy's of the world saying, man, I can't wait until there's a vacancy in Sacramento. That's a job I want and I've got to have. All right? You think Taylor Jenkins is going to be interested in a job in Sacramento? Are you freaking kidding me? Come on. Use your head here, would you please? This is not a coveted place to work. The word is out. There are no secrets in the NBA. Coaches laugh at the Sacramento Kings. We've already seen it this year publicly. All right? You're going to get individuals that need a job, want to fulfill their dream, who haven't had a job of this magnitude in the past. And if it doesn't work out, they have financial security for the rest of their life. That's the way it is. Be realistic about this. Would you please? Be realistic. Stop with the Bob Myers and Taylor Jenkins and, it's not, come on, wake up. Come on, wake up. And that's my rant for tonight.
And it's a high level problem to deal with too. You're not walking in like Jordy Fernandez where it's a rebuild.
Wow.
And there's a plan forward. All right. I want to get your thoughts in a second on the Ja Morant situation. But first, let's go to Baki. Baki, what's up?
Hey, Baki.
Hey, you guys. Hey, first, apologize for the last time because I had some technical issues, as
We
you
knew
already
that.
know, and everybody knows.
We observed that, Baki. I want to let you know we observed that you had some technical difficulties. It's okay.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I definitely saw it. You observed it very well. It was a nice one. It made me laugh. I watch it again tomorrow. Show it to my friends. Everybody laughs. So
Okay.
they say hello to Grant. Don't worry.
Tell him I love him. Thank you, buddy.
So great that we can laugh this time of the year and after all this happening. But never mind. My point for tonight is, you know how it is. After a few losses and after maybe half of a season, you are not satisfied with the team, with the results. So you fire the coach. Okay, that's the first one on the line who is going out. So now after the season is ruined, you're going after Wiebeck or McNair. But this is something I will say that's I'm a lot of in the sport. I was personally in the sport, and I'm following a lot of things as I can. Okay, NBA is my favorite, but the top sport here is, and the whole world, if you go globally, is soccer. So I will tell you one thing which will show you that it's not about the coaching stuff 100%, or if you collect coaching stuff plus GMs and all the people, it's not all their responsibility. About you got it was European Championship back in 2004, and you got team of Greece. The players were nobody knows them, and they took a championship. They conquered Germany, France, England, and all the powers in that sport. It's the same, like you said.
So where are you going with this? Like, what's your point that you're trying
I'm
to
going.
make?
My point is this team is very okay. You will maybe not agree to say very, because I must choose my words. So I will say talented team. Maybe very talented team, but and everybody sees that. But the problem is, if I take my point, everything is about the approach. This team is very negative approach to the games and to all the situations. Because Ryno said you can go, because Ryno didn't say that by nothing. He said we Okay, you're going to go now and win in Cleveland or Detroit. Why? Because they are capable to do that. Why? Because they are talented. But why we going to lose if we got a miracle and go to the playoffs? Why are you going to lose against Oklahoma all 4 games? Because you are not capable to get it 2, 3, 4 times in a row. You can go and you can bless against Boston, against Detroit, and get so the approach of the team, which is very talented, is mess. And my point is, next season or next 2 seasons, you can get a good coach and you can start to work with what you got with those players. Start to work with, find the real thing on the court, not outside of the court, not with McNear, with Vivek. Go with players and figure it out how to play the game, because they know how to. Sabonis is a guy who knows basket. Rosen is one of the best. I mean, all the others are Ellis and all the others are pushing sometimes very hard, but the problem is they are not finding the real solutions in the court, and that costs us every time we lose the game, because definitely they are a talented team and they can do big things only if you work good things with them on the court, with good coach and with real things.
Thank you, Baki.
Thanks, Baki.
Take care, my friend.
I think the Kings are a team by definition, but not in practice. They're individuals. So,
and I think that the veterans particularly understand that their season's over, that they're not going anywhere, and this could be a really ugly rest of the season. And again, I want to ask, how come Valanciunas only played 13 minutes tonight?
It seemed like if he wanted to bring the physicality, he had 10 points in a row at one point in this game, by the way.
Why is he playing? How come in 13 minutes he has 12 points and 6 rebounds? Why is he not playing more?
I have no idea. Doug is not willing to make teams adjust to the Kings. Wow. He's adjusting to what teams are doing. And that was one of the things he said he would do different, Grant, when he took over. So
really, really bad loss, disappointing loss. You're going to be at the Stockton Kings game tomorrow. So if you go to the Kings game in Stockton, look for Ryno.
Yeah, come say hi. Be floating around the arena. I'm looking forward to, maybe you'll do it on your podcast or your rant on what your thoughts are on how the NBA handles the latest Ja Morant gun issue.
Yeah. John Morant is just a bad dude. And I don't know why anyone really would want him on their franchise. It's just unbelievable. We'll discuss that. Have a good rest of the night. I'm done. I'm done talking about this debacle tonight. I'm done. I'm out. Enjoy the game tomorrow, buddy.
Appreciate that. We'll do Kings Court 2:00 tomorrow. And yes, come say hi in Stockton. You know what? Really quick, if you don't mind, since you're done, I'm just going to give a quick plug. Get to Stockton. If you want to see some decent basketball and your objection is it's Stockton, it's not that part of Stockton. You make one left turn off of I-5, you drive a mile, parking garage is on the right. Very nice arena. If you've wanted to sit close to the court and see the action up close and personal.
And a team that plays hard.
A team that plays very hard, and a team that they are playing that plays the same way extremely hard in the Valley Suns. Ty Washington, a young, really talented dude coming up in their system. Get down to Stockton. It's inexpensive. It is fun. Your kids will see faces from the Kings and personalities that they recognize, and I promise you, you will enjoy your time there. So that's what I will say. Get down there. Gabe Harris, GM, doing a great job. Quentin Crawford doing a great job. Cheap ticket, good basketball. Go support a team that deserves it. The Stockton Kings do.
Amen. On that note, we'll say good night. So long, everybody. Thanks very much.